placed on the front page, Water as a Weapon, Miami Indymedia. Now, we have the double lines, we have the lines that are connecting the two lines. And as you might have noticed on the picture, those lines are connecting just about at intervals of every single house. So in order for the system to work the way that it needs to, we would also have to have valves that would control these mixing capabilities. We have here on the screen a picture of a remote controlled water valve. The other parts of that diagram, and this is also on the website, show, this is the far left-hand side corner of this picture. On the right-hand side, we have initiating commands coming from a laptop, a cell phone, a computer. It goes into the internet, it goes up to a satellite. And then from that satellite, we can basically control what is on the left-hand side. We have oil wells, we have, I guess, GPS locating for trucks, and that circled item is a water valve. So that's how this is done. Now, according to Ali Saboni, who was the resident engineer for the Ardmore Street project where they were doing exactly this work and putting in the remote control water valves, Ali Saboni stated to me, there is no such thing as a remote controlled water valve. He lied. When I asked him how timed sprinkler systems operated, he got kind of upset and said, well, those are small valves. So if we have remote controlled small valves, we obviously can have remote controlled larger valves. Now, on the screen in a moment will be a photograph that is also on the website, as I think it's a little clearer on the website. This was taken at the yard at Santa Monica, California. Those are valves lined up, and the ones on the bottom you can see chalked in numbers. Those are RFID addresses. Those are those remote control water valves which the resident engineer is saying doesn't exist. I also have a photograph which I took in Spokane at the work site of a same kind of water valve with a chalked in number. When I asked the on-site supervisor there, his name was Brian Snipes, what those numbers were, he got very nervous and didn't want to talk about that either. He's insisting they're not remote controlled. They're insisting there's no such thing. Now, U.S. Pipe has manufactured a number of these components. U.S. Pipe has a very interesting history in terms of its leadership. Its chief executive officer, I believe, his name is Roy Torek. Is it Ray or Roy? Oh my goodness, shame on me for that. I believe it's Ray Torek. Yes, president of U.S. Pipe. He previously spent 25 years at Alcoa as vice president and general manager of the aerospace division. The vice president of finance and treasurer of U.S. Pipe, Walter Nolenberg, previously served as vice president of finance and chief financial officer of Burns Aerospace Corporation. So these guys moved from companies which dealt with spy satellites into plumbing. Now, this is an unusual career path, unless we've got a connection between spy satellites and plumbing. And through these remote-controlled water valves, which all these people are saying don't exist, and we've seen that they exist and how they operate, essentially, this is how this is going to be done. This is going to be a major part of the culling of the herds in the United States of America very, very shortly. Now, the remote-controlled aspect is very important because if you're going to do a mass kill, and my understanding is that this may be activated countrywide at the same time. I'm not sure. I'm not an insider. I have no idea what these people are really planning. But the thinking is that if you do a little city here and then wait a while and do another city, people are going to catch on. Look what happened recently in Spencer, Massachusetts, when sodium hydroxide was released into the water system. I mean, the whole country found out. So my understanding is, if they're going to do this, if they're going to do a mass kill, they may open up all these valves all at once. So they have to have remote controlled capabilities. That way, boom, it's done. Now, people have asked me, well, why do they want to kill people? What is this all about? And personally, I don't understand why anybody would ever want to kill anybody. But we have had, through history, brutal fascistic dictatorships. And brutal fascistic dictatorships have always involved killing people. What we have in the United States of America at this point in time is a leadership that has finessed the art of the spin. We have a Christian president. We have a war in Iraq against this dreadful monster Saddam Hussein. And we have basically bought a lot of lies in this country. Hitler killed a lot of people. The grandfather for President Bush was Prescott Bush. Prescott Bush was a director of Union Banking Corporation, which was seized in 1944 under the Trading with the Enemies Act because Prescott Bush was funneling massive amounts of money into Hitler's war effort. We have a history of support of that kind of regime in the personal background of our President George W. Bush. Something needs to be done, and something needs to be done right away. My understanding is that this may be deployed as soon as 2008. We have a presidential election coming up. We'll have a change of regime unless there's a national emergency and the elections are suspended. And the activation of a system like this would indeed provide a national emergency. I am here tonight as a journalist because I grew up in a country that I thought was the best country in the world. I have Jewish blood. My mother was Jewish. My father was Irish Catholic. He was an investigative reporter. And I knew about what happened in Hitler's Germany. And I felt lucky and safe to be born in this country. And I am here tonight because I know we are not safe.